Do you think that the administration and maybe the Democratic Party have played some role in that pandemic fatigue? I mean, early on, Biden pushed schools to open. He declared independence from COVID on July 4th, 2021, right during the Delta wave. And then subsequently, we had the Omicron wave. He recently declared that the pandemic was over. The CDC relaxed masking guidance. It relaxed the isolation recommendations, despite the fact that nobody from the White House who's gotten COVID has adhered to the 5 days. Um, and pandemic unemployment was allowed to expire. The paid leave tax credit was allowed to expire. The enhanced child tax credit was allowed to expire, and the eviction moratorium was allowed to expire. And today, despite hospitals filling up, children's hospitals filling up, the administration won't even recommend masking, which we know cuts viral spread. And it's relied pretty much exclusively on a vaccine only approach, even though public health experts throughout the pandemic have largely called for layered protection. Um, there are still no universal workplace safety standards like air quality standards. OSHA hasn't enacted those. There's no talk of paid leave, and even the public option has disappeared from the national political discourse. The message seems to be, make your own decisions, but there's no broad messaging campaign about the serious long-term consequences of COVID, even long COVID. How much do you think that plays into people thinking that the pandemic is over?
I wish, in retrospect, that we had not said that there was independence from COVID. Obviously, Delta happened, Omicron happened. I think we have to acknowledge that this is a very serious disease that all of us are still dealing with. And we need to make sure that we are pushing for vaccines, for boosters, for drug treatments that are effective, and giving people the information that they need. Obviously, some of the other policies that you said I support intrinsically. I mean, we should be expanding the child tax credit, having paid family leave, and those are policies that are good in and of themselves, beyond the fact that they help with the pandemic. But I think that there is a balance where we can tell people that you can go celebrate Thanksgiving, you can travel, you can go live your life, but you shouldn't realize that there is still risk, and that we're doing the things we can through vaccines, through medicine, to really mitigate that risk.
But something that we haven't heard very much about is long COVID. Now, vaccines do protect somewhat against long COVID, but we don't really know how much. Some studies suggest not very much at all. We also know that mild infections are tied to long-term consequences like cardiovascular issues or kidney damage or diabetes. That messaging hasn't come out of the White House, and I haven't heard much of it from anybody really in office. I gotta wonder how does that affect personal choice? If somebody isn't being given the facts, how can they make an informed decision about their health?
Well, I do think we should get the facts out there on long COVID, and then also look at what are the cures, what are the therapies to long COVID, and what are the preventions, and make investments in them. I mean, I think the balance is, how do you get people who want to still go shop and still go to Thanksgiving and still gather with Christmas and go out to eat and go spend time with loved ones, be able to do that while being investing in the vaccines and therapies that are needed, and striking that balance. And that's, I think, what policymakers are struggling to figure out.